Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. We have an excellent new event to take a look at today, the trade-in event, and I have almost nothing but good things to say about this event. I am very pleased to see this event come back. We're going to go over some of the details of this event, but I also want to direct your attention to an excellent Reddit post here by Fumi Kane. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that right. Excellent discussion below that post as well, and that post will be linked below for you to go check out if you want to. This is a really good event though, because it allows people to exchange premium ships they just don't play, they just don't like, for a new set of premium ships. It's very limited in what you can get out of this event. This is the whole list right here. Not a ton of ships available considering how many ships you could possibly trade in here. Yes, this does just keep scrolling, but it's still a really cool event for that. Back in the day when I was not a CC and I was not playing this game a lot, I didn't put any money into the game, I was free to play. I had a few premium ships that I had earned or elected to spend a lot of money on back when I was a student. Maybe I should have put those funds to something else, but that's a topic for another time. It would have been so nice to have an event like this for my 1 or 2 premium ships. One of them I just don't like. I want to try something different. This is a really cool event for that. The other reason it's awesome is it actually gives you the ability to exchange coal for doubloons. If we look a little bit closer here in the details for this event, you'll notice there's a few buckets that you have to go into here. We aren't allowed to trade in a tier 10 ship for a tier 5 ship, for example. So if we go down to group 3 here, some rare ships, some higher tier ships, you can only get higher tier ships in exchange. So make sure you check out the rules here, these different buckets, before you start thinking about the ships you want to trade in for. But crucially, there's a few ships in here that are available for coal. Duke of York is a very interesting example here. So you could trade it in for a West Virginia 44, a Florida, Atlanta, duplex, actually not currently available in the armory, I believe. Some interesting options there. But once you do that, you've lost your Duke of York. It'll still be available to purchase in the armory for coal. So you could get a ship that's only available for doubloons in exchange for your coal ship and then just go buy the coal ship again. That is really cool, especially if you're willing to wait on Duke of York, as the new price changes for all these armory ships, these in-game resources ships should be coming soon. I actually don't remember the time that they're bringing that in. And Duke of York is getting a price reduction. So you could trade it in for its current value and buy it back a little while later for its reduced price. I think that's how it'll work. I'm not sure. Perhaps that is too much metagaming this new event, but it's interesting. It's very interesting. Of course, if you're looking to get ships, do not trade in ships that are available for coal, all right? Don't get yourself a Carnot, for example. Don't get yourself a Marco Polo. Do not trade an existing one. I just would highly recommend you do not get any of the ships here that are available for coal, as you can earn that for free. Immelman, Sherman, just by playing the game a little bit. Napoli is also an example there, as well as Marco Polo and Carnot there. Notably, I would also recommend not transferring things like Black or Nooster Shimmy, which are special coal ships, I guess we could say, ones that were earnable via ranked modes. I think that was Black. You had to get a certain number of wins in ranked at Gold League. I forget how that all worked back in the day. But that's why this ship is so much more expensive for coal than every other tier 9 DD. And I wouldn't recommend you exchange that, as it's very expensive to get those ones back. But for me, the real star of the show here is just being able to offload premiums that take up space in your port that you never play. They're not benefiting you anyway, so it's really cool that you can go in and exchange some of them for potentially a ship that you don't have and are interested in playing. I'm not going to do that for Immelman. This one is available for coal, but I'm just using it as an example, as it's the only one in the list that's not on this account. Notice though that I will have to pay up no matter what I exchange. I could exchange an original Missouri with the credit multiplier built in, a Musashi, and I would still have to pay up doubloons, even though this one's only available for coal, and I would say is probably worth a little bit less in the grand scheme of things compared to those two ships. So be careful which ones you're going for, I would say, but in general, I am very excited about this event. I'd really love for you to put down in the comments which ships you're interested in getting, which one of these that you like the most. That way people can get a multitude of opinions on these ships and make a more informed decision. Comments down below, as well as, again, that link to the Reddit post. There's a great discussion below that as well. As for my personal recommendations, I gotta go over this again. Don't go for the coal ones. Napoli, it's very fun. Brawling it out, secondaries, it's a fun ship. But you can get it for coal for free just by playing through the game. Coal is one of the easiest resources to get. Sherman as well, high DPM, sap, it's very, very fun. I enjoy this ship a lot, but it's available for coal, so I would recommend not getting it. Dalian is going to be just a smoke farmer. I'm not terribly interested in that playstyle personally. It's nowhere near a Smolensk at tier 9, if that's what you're thinking, by the way. It is not that powerful, but it does pack the Pan-Asian smokes, which are extremely good for farming. And then you also have standard torpedoes, not deep waters, on the Pan-Asian line, which is kind of interesting as well. But for me, not as interested. Carnot, I do not like this ship. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Battle cruiser, not a fan. The dispersion, man, I just can't handle it. But it's also available for coal, so again, not recommended here. Brandenburg is an alright tier 8 brawler. The problem is you have quite a bit less HP than a Bismarck. You have pretty poor firing angles on these 305s, so you don't get the 380s, but faster reloading 305s, you get 12 of them. They're okay guns, but you got to give a little bit more broadside. Interestingly, you get one more secondary turret per side, so you have more secondary DPM than a Bismarck, and other than that, it's pretty much just a slightly worse version. Notice we don't have a Hydro here as an option either on this ship, so perhaps it's more comparable to a Tirpitz since we have the torpedoes here as well. Tashkent 39 is a very strange destroyer. It's in the Soviet tree, and yet it's mostly a torp boat, bringing down the Tashkent hull with pretty poor guns, honestly, yet these torps are surprisingly powerful. And your concealment's not amazing either. It's okay, you know, tier 7, but for the most part, you're trying to spam these 10-kilometer torpedoes. I'm not as big a fan of this ship at tier 7, but if you want a very, very fast torp boat, like at base speed, 47 knots, that is very, very good at tier 7. If you're interested in torp boats, this could be one for you. For me, not so much. As mentioned, Duplex is a bit of a rare one currently. I'm not sure why it hasn't returned to the armory yet, but here it is in the trade-in event. If you're at all interested, you get tier 6 with 203s. Bit of a long reload there. I was kind of just mid on this ship, I remember when it came out. I have not played it since, by the way, so my opinion's not too solid on it, but low tier, mid-tier cruiser. You don't have a lot of armor here. It is quite paper, as well as I believe our Citadel is gigantic. So it's a hard ship to play. No healing available on a ship like this one, but you do get a reload booster, which is quite unique at these lower tiers, especially 203's reload booster tier 6 could be fun for you. Now, Gallantier is also available for coal, so wouldn't recommend you trade for it, but it's a decent destroyer. I really do like the British DDs in general for learning destroyer play. This ship, though, has different smoke screens than the main line, which to me is a bit of a downgrade, actually. I find that the fast, bursty smokes is what makes those ships so fun and forgiving. You're not punished for setting down a smoke incorrectly or using it to get out of a bad situation, and then you don't have a very long cooldown till your next one, and you can play quite aggressive, even before you get the heals at higher tier on British DDs. This one, though, a little harder to play that role. But you do get 8-kilometer torpedoes at tier 6, which is very, very solid, and they do a lot of damage, too. West Virginia 41, I believe, is coming to the Battle Pass very soon, so trading for it maybe doesn't make too much sense. I'm not a big fan of these lower tier battleships that have a larger caliber. They just overmatch each other everywhere. That's why tier 6, tier 7 is a very strange place to play battleship, as you don't have armor, and you're very slow and easy to hit. So it's very weird games. Sometimes it can go well, but generally I don't prefer it. So 26 everywhere, easily overmatched by 406, overmatched by 380s as well, which is getting more common at these tiers 6 and 7. So not a huge fan of that playstyle personally. Now, I don't believe I've ever played this ship, the Genova, so you'll have to look in the comments down below for recommendations on it. But I've been trying to figure out what makes it special. I believe it's 203s with SAP at tier 5. Not a lot of matches played at lower tier these days, but tier 5 still should get you some random battles games. Unfortunately, the ship does not retain the smoke generator that the tech tree has, which allows you to run around at full speed in your smokes. Very, very useful, very fun gimmick. I guess here we also get insanely fast reload, 47-second reload here on 8 kilometer, 9,000 damage torps. You get 4 per side. Maybe that's worth going for here. I'm not sure. Doesn't look terribly special to me. On to Sirocco, another one that I really haven't played. But looking at the stats of this ship, it looks like you give up 1 turret versus the tech tree Jaguar. But in exchange, you gain the reload booster a tier lower than you normally would. You get it at tier 6 in the tech tree, the main line here. So Gepard is going to give you that one, but Jaguar doesn't. So tier 5, you get yourself the reload booster. Could be fun if you enjoy playing these lower tier ships. And now we're getting into the good stuff. This one almost made my top 5, all right? Top 5 trade-in event ships, something like that, right? Agincourt here, I probably mispronouncing that, I apologize, is the secondary tier 5 brawler ship. It's got an obscene secondary DPM, rivaling Schlieffen, by the way. Ridiculous. Although you have to go exactly full broadside to activate all of it, because it's all like casemate stuff, which is pretty funny. Looks like this ship will be rotating out soon. We're getting that rotation effect where Wargaming wants to bring the FOMO to ships that have been constantly available for purchase since they were introduced. Gotta milk that old content even harder with modern tactics, unfortunately. Really not a fan of that personally. Hopefully we do see these ships actually rotate back in, and this isn't just an excuse to remove a bunch of ships and then add a ton of FOMO later when they just accidentally, oh, we just happened to not include it. I'm worried that's gonna happen. I don't know that's gonna happen. That's just my worry. But tier 5, I don't enjoy playing too much at this tier, so it does not make the top 5 for me. Now in 5th place, I'm going to go with Florida. For me personally, this is a very, very fun battleship to have. You get 12 guns at tier 7, although lower caliber here, so only 356 mil guns, but they're quite accurate. And if you find a lot of cruisers, which there's plenty at these tiers with very little armor, the ship is going to do incredibly well. Your armor is, I mean, pretty good deck armor, but very exposed citadel, very overmatchable at your tier. So typically it's going to be played a little bit further back. You don't want to be brawling it out with this one. I found it very fun in the past, although I have not played it in a very long time. Definitely let me know if you want to see some more detailed videos on any of these ships available in this trade-in event. I would gladly make them for you. Florida, though, would be the 5th ship that I would want to get out of this event. Now at 4th place is going to go the Carl. This is a very fun battleship. Very different than the secondary brawler, as we're more of a torpedo-focused brawler. I find that very, very interesting. The concealment here is awesome. I mean, 10-6 detect is crazy on a battleship. Your guns are okay, only these 305s are really, really not amazing. But the armor on this ship is great. Very, very powerful, especially at close range. We're bringing a bit of that low-tier dreadnought kind of style armor where we can't get HE spammed into our upper belt, and lower caliber AP might even shatter on this at longer ranges too. Deck armor will be penned with HE as long as you have 32 mil, which a lot of ships do at these tiers, heavy cruisers and all that. And your superstructure is relatively small. You get a little bit of icebreaker. 35 is enough, except for like Chikushima, Satsuma, Incomp. I think those are the ones right now that can overmatch through you there. Typically, you're not going to have to worry about that. Tier 9 Matchmaker is a bit of an issue these days, given that we often see it up-tiered into super ship games. So that's why this one drops back a little bit, but it's still a very fun ship. Yet being tier 9 means it's going to be very expensive, unfortunately. Even with the trade-in, you'd still have to pay up some, unfortunately. So it's an expensive one. That's why it drops to 4th for me. On to the top 3, and honestly, all 3 of these ships are just incredibly fun. It's hard for me to pick exactly the order here, but 3rd place I think would have to go to Kid. This is the American tier 8 gunboat DD. that trades a torp launcher for a heal. Yes, healing on a destroyer. You know me in this game, I absolutely love having heals on ships. It allows me to make dumb plays that are too aggressive and kind of get away with it. So having that on American DD is just incredibly fun. Long duration smokes, great for farming. They do lock you in one place for quite a while though, and then you have the option of engine boost or defensive fire as well. Very, very fun tier 8 gunboat destroyer, and I would highly recommend it if you want any sort of a more aggressive American gunboat. This though does have the same problem that all these American DDs have. We're going to look at a little bit closer at all the tech tree American DDs very soon. And one of their big issues is their shell velocity is very, very poor. So hitting things at range is very, very difficult. So just doing the open water gunboat playstyle, not so good. But you play super aggressive, up close, brawling it, DD brawls, knife fights, I guess we call those. Very, very fun in this ship. Now, maybe you expected this one to go in first place, but no, it's not quite as fun for me as the first place ship. But West Virginia 44 is crazy. You're basically bringing the pseudo premium battleship tech tree of Ohio, Georgia, Massachusetts down to tier 7 here. We get the accurate secondaries here. These actually have a very, very fast reload. You get 4 per side instead of 5 per side, but the reload here is extremely quick. At this tier, you run IFHE, you're actually able to pen 26 millimeters of armor, which guess what has 26 everywhere. Yeah, these secondaries go crazy. Another reason that West Virginia 41, a lot of stuff pens 26 at these tiers, I gotta say, including these secondaries. The guns are okay as well. This ship gets the heals too. That's why I say it brings down that Ohio, Georgia, Massachusetts idea. You get the 40-second cooldown on these heals. This ship is absolutely ridiculous in brawls, any sort of close range engagements. Very, very fun in ranked, anything like that. And it would be the second one for me to look at because Atlanta is just so fun. Got the goofiest camo ever on this thing, which I believe is available for like community tokens, something like that. But this ship is so much fun. It's like you're in control of the secondaries, basically. It's very, very, very fun to play this ship. It's hard to play, though. It is a light cruiser without heals, without armor, with an exposed citadel. No smokes to speak of here. This is a ship that retains the American gunboat or American DD problem of extremely poor shell velocity. But you get a lot of guns, and it's very, very fun to play. When you get in the right situation, there's not much that is as fun as an Atlanta. Being mid-tier also means that generally it's a little more forgiving to play than something like a Colbert, for example, would be a tier 10 version of this. And I just love this ship. So for me, if I didn't have it, if there was trade-ins going on and there were ships that I didn't play and I was looking for just a pure fun ship to play, I would go for Atlanta. Although it is hard to play. Something to remember, this is a very, very difficult ship to play. West Virginia 44 is incredibly forgiving. Kid is even forgiving too, thanks to its healing, as is Carl. Battleship's just more forgiving to play, obviously, but Atlanta's just so fun, man. So for me, this would be the best one to get out of this trade-in event. But that is just my opinion. Best would be Atlanta, then West Virginia 44, second place, third place, Kid. Fourth place, Carl. Fifth place, Florida. Those are my top 5. Let me know in the comments down below which ones you would prefer, and then we can all take a look at that down there. For those that are interested, definitely check out the comments. And again, also, definitely check out the Reddit post by Fumi Kane there on this trade-in event. Great detail there, as well as good conversation down below that post too. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this event. I'm so glad there's a consumer-friendly event here. I talk a lot about the negatives of Wargaming's monetization. And while this is a trade-in event where you're getting less than 100% value out of your original purchase, it's so nice to just have the option for ships that just sit there doing nothing in your port to be able to exchange that for something you will play or you're interested in playing. I think that is so, so cool. So well done, Wargaming. I personally am very happy to see this event come back. Please bring it back in the future. And that's about it for this video. Thank you very much for watching and have a great rest of your day.